Women Revolt was meant to be a leading part for Holly, and the idea of her being a woman's liber was just my amusing take on this idea that was just starting then of women should be like men, which was a kind of silly idea. I think it still is. It's been proven that, but it's not going to stop.
Out. I just put it down. Out. Don't. Ow. I just put it down over here, all right? Holly, please, I told you I don't want any men in this apartment.
It seemed to be a funny idea, a comical idea. Men who had devoted their life to assuming the roles of women should be asked to play women who were told by the women's lib movement that they should assume the roles of men.
Well, what are you trying to do?
Well, we're trying to further it and,
Further what?
the movement. You know,
What's the movement?
The women, you know, darling.
Women's liberation?
Women's liberation.
So I mentioned it to Andy. I said, I think they should play women's libers, like, like the ridiculous Valerie Solanas. And he was very brave about it. He said, oh, well, that's a good idea. I mean, I don't remember ever saying anything to Andy he didn't say was a good idea. He was so glad to have any ideas because he didn't come up with any himself, I remember. He wasn't the type of person who had funny ideas or creative ideas.
I'm only a woman.
Oh.
What have I got to offer?
Oh, no.
A facade?
A glittering facade?
A glittering facade.
A glittering facade.
You become very sympathetic to the plight of women, and you sort of have to say to yourself, gee, it's not easy being a woman. You wouldn't say that if women were playing the parts, you just take it for granted, but the fact that men are going through these problems, pretending to be women, I think it makes it much more effective. Well, I operated with Women Revolt and Jackie and Candy, the same as every film I made, without a script. I would always just explain to Jackie, and very briefly, I said, Jackie, in this scene, this is your guy you're trying to, pay to have sex with.
Why Holly and why other girls that are involved in the movement are so hung up with men? I mean, I want to have sex at the top, so I'll know what America's like at the bottom.
So I would give them each, always, the basis of the scene. And when I'd stop and start, I'd suggest lines. I said, Jackie, why don't you do this? Okay, let's go. What I think this did, obviously, in retrospect, it took out self-consciousness and it made them just take chances. So these films, besides being unusual when you see them, no films in the history of the world ever were made in this way, where they were actually made in 10 hours, on afternoons.